When I first started working in schools, nobody asked your opinion about anything really.
When I first started at the school, my confidence was rock bottom.
Any idea that the only talented people in a school are the teachers is evidently wrong.
I am passionately committed to supporting people to have a second bite at education and developing their opportunities.
Knowing what you're going to achieve at the end of it does encourage you to carry on.
And who is our Hodger? Because we got to have someone stepping in. When Sakano says action, you need to push start. When I first started at the school, the very first job I had here was doing the photocopying. My confidence actually was very low because I've been at home for 16 years. The headmistress of the school then really helped me by sort of encouraging me to pursue becoming a teaching assistant. Who have you got beside you?
I've got a pet donkey.
Okay, right, Obi, stop it a minute. At the moment, I'm doing the graduate teacher programme. Mr. Smith, who I work with, is extremely encouraging and backs me all the way and gives me help, so much help, as do all the teachers in the school, everybody. Amber, you need to finish learning those lines, don't you? Okay. After half term, I will be taking on more of the teaching responsibility, but we work very well together and plan together and you know, we'll team teach sometimes as well. I think they're in their places.
Stand by. Standing by.
Cut. And cut.
Making sure everyone's potential is recognised and creating appropriate training opportunities is important at Cranmer School in South London.
As a school, we very much supported all our teaching assistants and other staff, admin, site manager, to gain further qualifications to develop themselves individually and professionally. Nearly all our support staff, in some way or another, did the Level 2 English and Maths assessment, and a considerable number went on to gain their English Level 2 and Maths Level 2 that's equivalent to the grades A to C of the GCSE. And I just feel those sort of opportunities should be open for everyone, regardless of their age.
The head's shared leadership is a model for the school.
Hi.
Oh, hiya.
Encouraging staff at every level to share responsibilities.
Irene and I have been shared heads of the school now for 3 years.
I think there's also an issue around TAs getting into French and music sessions, so that could come up.
When we spoke to governors about sharing the headship, you know, we were keen to point out that we were looking for the way in which the school would run, which would have distributed leadership. And we didn't want that to be just teachers. We wanted to ensure that different people with different skills had all sorts of positions of responsibility in the school.
Hold on, where's red gone?
Where's the red gone? What have you done with it?
There are people with all sorts of talents right through the workforce. We found that here in a range of ways. We found that actually adding Karen, who's our school business manager, onto our senior leadership team has been tremendous in offering a different perspective on the whole range of strategies in school. Someone else in our school, Linda, said to us, I'm really interested in books and in developing libraries. So she now runs our library for us. She's a teaching assistant, but does a fantastic job running our library.
One little bird left some eggs behind, but Mrs. Honey didn't notice.
Where's the eggs that the bird left behind? There they are. What colour are they?
Blue.
Blue.
We found that people like Tahira, who have got particular talents in teaching English as an additional language, she's been a tremendous asset and has worked her way through the system of being a TA and an HLTA. So there are a whole range of talents there that need to be tapped, and if schools don't do that, then they're missing a trick.
Hold the door for me, Alvin, please. Thank you. I used to work in an office 5 days a week and left work when I had my children, and then as the children started school, I voluntarily went into school to support in the school. Okay, you're going to give me a little bit of background about your character. See if you can remember what kind of character you are. I was approached by the present head of the school, and I was asked whether I would be interested in taking on a role working with ethnic minority children and families within the school. Oh, what about this one? I was quite excited by being given that opportunity. Initially, I was sent on a bilingual training course training on how to support bilingual children, and I brought that back into the classroom, and that's helped me and encouraged me to go further. Since then, I've now taken on a foundation degree, and I'm now looking at the prospects of going into teaching full-time in a few years' time when I finish my foundation degree.
When I first started working in schools, I was basically, you were just there to clean and that was it. These days it's a lot different. You actually sit on a lot of the committees. They ask your opinion about building work, about more technical stuff, which makes it a lot more interesting for me. I found the best way for me to train was at work, actually on the job.
Dave Turner is a great site manager. I've worked with several, and he really is a huge asset to the school. And through doing professional development for colleagues, I came across the Train to Gain group, which is a government directed and government funded, and spoke to Dave about him gaining something because he hadn't got those sort of qualifications, because he works with so many agencies. They come in, whether it's grounds, buildings, maintenance projects during the holidays. He supervises, manages and coordinates. So we found an appropriate course, and then he's done it on the job here in the school with the trainer from the particular group coming in to work with him, and he's just gained his level 3 certificate. That is fantastic. Really pleased for you, and I know you've worked very hard to gain that.
Thank you.
Great.
I left school with absolutely no qualifications, and bizarrely I hated school, and went into building trade for a few years really, and then ended up at the age of about 22 working in school, quite by accident really. It's good for them because I can give them advice. We run jobs so we don't have to bring outside agencies in so much. I can work with people with the confidence that I know what I'm talking about. If I hadn't had the training, I think I would have really struggled to do it. It's been really useful. I just don't think I would have coped with the workload.
Initially, a lot of staff do lack confidence in actually taking on new tasks and new responsibilities.
Who was it that sailed on the boat?
The boy.
Mandy's another example. We really had to keep saying to Mandy, actually, you're really good at this, and she is. And then we said, look, you know, I'm sure that you can get the higher level teaching assistant qualification. And she didn't feel that she could, but we encouraged her, and actually she got through that with flying colours. And she is one of those that says, actually, I'm much more confident now, you know, having gone through that process. It does make a big difference to people.
We can do all that right at the end. It's part of our 5-finger check, okay?
She now takes classes. She never would have considered that a few years ago, but now she's happy to support teachers in a range of very skillful ways.
You should really see how lovely you've been working.
And I can't wait to see your sentences all written down nicely on your paper. Once a year we have performance management where the teaching assistant meets with the class teacher, whoever's doing their performance management, and we discuss things like how far we think we've developed, what line we'd like to be further developed in. Then we're allowed to go away and go on courses, and the school takes steps to help us develop in the area that we wish to travel down.
OK, so that's the targets of your last year. Now focusing on setting the targets for this year.
Performance management really helps me, it keeps me focused and it gives me an aim of what I'm hoping to do and just keeps me on track.
We talked about how there are lots of amazing things you're doing within the school professionally. Is there anything that we can do to help you manage your role more effectively?
When I'm doing whole class teaching is to have some support in the classroom with me. My plan is to complete my foundation degree, go on and get a BA in general education and finally do a PGCE or teacher graduate programme to become a fully qualified teacher.
Should we make some animals? No, what are you making then? A bread roll?
We knew that we needed additional people in our foundation stage, in the nursery. We didn't have the budget to actually appoint really experienced staff. And in working with a local college, we found out that there were modern apprentices that actually wanted to work in schools. So in fact, one of the people that we appointed was Laura. She's been there sort of 1 day a week, working with us 4 days a week within the modern apprenticeship scheme. and gain her MVQ3 through that method. And so we have now got a really well-established, well-qualified, confident member of staff working in our foundation stage who's come through that process of CPD.
From what I was in school, I wasn't a very confident person, and with working I wasn't confident, and talking to people I just didn't really enjoy doing. But since coming to here, I've got on with staff, working as a team, because you're always constantly working as a team in foundation stage and obviously in nursery too, and you're always communicating through parents and staff. Got to be very careful, okay? Thank you. I would like to go on to do a foundation degree. I would like to become a teacher. I can't say that I wouldn't, but for me at this point I am just happy being a nursery nurse at the moment and get more experience. If you need any more bits out, you can get it from over there.
I've been amazed just how keen staff have been to get involved in CPD in a whole range of ways. I was thinking, oh, they won't want, to be doing all that. They're paid by the hour and, they didn't come in for this. But in fact, invariably, what you find is that the vast majority of staff actually do. They want to improve. They want to improve their qualifications. They want a career progression.
All the courses that they go on have got to have impact on the children's learning. It's related to creating a better learning environment and a happy school, because happy children learn. So that's the underpinning of it all.
And the last one is circa, cheeky but clever.
We know that when we reflect over time that this is working well. Nothing in life is perfect, and of course there are things that we need to try and improve, things that we need to try and get better. And that's why, for example, we have a school change team where we try and discuss issues about the wider workforce and about our employment stances to find out whether it's working for other people. But we know that generally it's working because what we see is good outcomes for the pupils, and that's actually what it's all about. In this school, there is a sort of an acceleration of progress with children, and we do get good Key Stage 2 results.
Have a little talk to your partners, or if you're in threes, and try and think about at least 1 star, hopefully 2 stars, and 1 wish that you could give to this group. Okay. I think having done the foundation degree has certainly encouraged other TAs to go forward and try it for themselves, and they realise they've seen me go through it all, struggling sometimes, but also getting the support from the school and from colleagues in the school, so they know that their support is there, so it's not maybe so scary as it could have been for them.
We're all going to stand up, okay? We all stand up for our rehearsal. I feel that I've been supported by the school all the way through my journey, and had I not had that opportunity, I don't think I would have taken that step further on my own.
I think other schools could have learned a lot from this. I mean, it's been absolutely excellent for me, and having worked at other schools, I do know that a lot of the time you're just there to open the school up and lock the school up in the evening. Bye. The school's definitely benefiting a lot by it because A, they're saving a lot of money, and B, it gives me a lot more job satisfaction. It means I do the job better, I think. Bye. See you tomorrow. Bye.